Good morning, second English students. We will continue the topic untranslatability. Though it is discussed in the previous videos, we will again discuss the subtopics how to tackle untranslatability. Okay. So one is borrowing. And here in borrowing is a method of translation in which translator uses a word or phrase from source text in the target text without changing it. And let's say transliteration, and that is called as borrowing, and simply transliterate the word. Let's say vada payasam. So we simply borrow that word, and it is italicized, okay, implying that this is not an English word. Okay, so this is said to be borrowing. And then paraphrase, let's say kesari or some other thing. Okay, we shall take pizza, and it is translated as translated in Tamil language, and how that dish is prepared, writing elaborately. Okay, so that is said to be a translator's note. That could be, let's say, pizza. The meaning of pizza is written as sentence. Okay, that is said to be a translator note. And another thing is, meaning of pizza is given at the end of the page. Okay, drawing a line, and at the end of the page the meaning is given, or even at the end of the text after reading a complete novel, at the end of the text, the meaning of pizza and other words are given. Okay, so let's say translator's notes is this, and paraphrase is a method of translation which renders. Let's say if we take meaning of pizza, the meaning is completely explained. Though in the original text we have only one word, but in the target language we have a sentence. The meaning itself is completely explained. Okay, so that is said to be paraphrase. But in case of translator's note, rather than giving it on the in the text itself, the meaning. Okay, if we see difference between borrowing and translator's note and paraphrase are these things. Borrowing is simply transliteration, and I do not give the meaning of it. Okay, let's say I am translating pizza into Tamil, and P it sa. Okay, so that's how I transliterate from English language to Tamil language, and I say I write it, I publish it using italics. Okay, that word is italicized in the Tamil language. Okay, this is said to be borrowing. And paraphrase is, rather than using the word pizza, pizza, and I explain the meaning of that word, and I simply use it. Okay, though the original text has single word, but when I translate it, I write the meaning, I paraphrase it, and I simply use it. Okay, this is paraphrase. And the translator's note is this. Using the italicized word, I use pizza, and now I say at the end of the page I write the meaning of that word, italicized word, or even at the end of the text after reading the whole text, translator's note, topic translator's note is given, and then I explain the meaning of the transliterated words. Okay, so this is said to be translator's note. Okay, maybe in the preface or the end of the text, the translator's note is given. Okay, so that's how untranslatability are tackled. So two fields in which texts are not far from being untranslatable are poetry and puns. So poetry, because of importance of rhyme and rhythm, source language, pun because they depend heavily on the source language. Nevertheless, some of the above mentioned methods of translation can be applied in such cases. Therefore, see, when we take poetry and visually pun. Okay, pun comes under banner poetry, and pun could be used in a novel or even in ordinary speech. Pun could be used, and it is difficult to translate. Let's say it's not only difficult, overall it is untranslatable. Okay, poetry itself is untranslatable. Okay, when this is the situation, the writer should add creativity. Okay, that's what we can do. Okay, if a translator can, for example, insert a new pun at another point in the text to replace an irreplaceable pun. Okay, so that is what called as creativity. So translator adds his own creativity, his own figure of speech, his own ideas, because it is untranslatable. Okay, so that's how the problem of untranslatability is tackled. So that's the end of third unit. Okay, so that's the end of third unit. Now in this video itself we shall begin fourth unit, problems in translation. Okay, so we shall begin fourth unit, problems in translation. Let's say, though I explained in detail what are the problems faced by the translator when he translates, we are just going to revise. Okay, so it is given as syllabus. Okay, it is the fourth unit is problems in translation, and I clearly explained the problems of translator faced by problems of the translator during the translation. I clearly explained everything, and we are just going to revise. Okay, so the general problems faced during the translation. Translation, according to Johnson, involves the process of change into another language retaining the sense, which is indeed the basic objective. Translation may be defined as the basic objective is change into another language retaining the sense. Okay, the main idea which you cannot distort it, and then it is replaced in another language. So definition, lots of definitions are given for translation. And moving to next paragraph, it is a process of constant search for transfer of a message from a source language into target language. It is often beset by many problems and difficulties that may be a result of the differences in both languages and differences in the cultures represented by them. Okay, so now the point is that language as well as the culture. Okay, so these are all the most important problems in translation. Okay, language and culture. Language doesn't have the scope for rhyming words. The language doesn't have the scope for these grammatical items, and the language doesn't have scope for words. There is no certain words for these things. Okay, so therefore these are all the basic problems in translation. A translator in first place should possess an in-word with both the languages, the source language and target language in which the translation is done. He should have mastery of both the languages and should have the feel for the language. Okay, see, he should have mastery of the language and its history of the language, and above all the feel of the language and feel of the text. Okay, so they are all important qualifications for a translator. So mastering both the languages and its the languages history and culture, and above all the feel of the text. Okay, these things a translator should have. Okay, and now we have the linguistic problem. The linguistic problem, that is the grammar and vocabulary. Okay, the grammatical structure is so and so. Okay, so when this is the grammatical structure, when this is the vocabulary scope, then let's say the cultural words, maybe thali or other words and foods, so they cannot be translated. So they are all the words have the problem, and let's say I gave the example of she gave watch site. So these words have only one word in Tamil language, that is Parthu, but in Tamil we have Kadal, Nesam, Pasam, and but in case of English we have only love. So let's say the language itself does itself make a problem for the translator. And the reader text triangle, I already explained the reader text triangle. And once I write a text and it is published, the reader can interpret in his own way. Okay, the reader has the right to interpret or find out the meaning in his own way. Okay, and so this is also a problem faced during translation. And next topic, semantic problem, polysemy. Okay, the various meanings of a word given of a given word may drag inexperienced translator into trouble. He or she gets so confused that he or she is unable to choose appropriate meaning, especially when the meaning are so close to one another and the context is literary or religious. And let's say the various layers of meaning. So that is said to be a semantic problem, and the structure of the text and the various meaning and the various layers of meaning, that is said to be polysemy. Okay, a word has a single word has many meanings. Okay, conduct. Okay, so both have the same spelling, and so which meaning could be taken? A single word has many meanings. Which meaning could be taken for translation? So this is a problem. And then we have homonymy, and homonymy in the sense the beauty of the language. Let's say rhyming words. Rhyming words is impossible. When we focus on rhyming words, now obviously we distort the meaning. Okay, so this is said to be homonymy. And then we have stylistic problem. Stylistic problem, the word itself we can understand the style used by the writer, the style of language. Okay, I have my own style of speaking. I have my own style of using English language. I have my own body language. I have my own style of handwriting. Okay, each and everyone have their own style, and each and every individual have their own style of using language, their own style of writing. Okay, so when this is the case, as a translator, what kind of style can I write? Okay, so so this is the style of Shakespeare. This is the style of T.S. Eliot. See, I already told you T.S. Eliot uses difficult style, and ironically, the words are not going to be difficult words. Words are absolutely simple words. School children also use those words. The vocabulary is school level of vocabulary. That's what T.S. Eliot uses. Yet we cannot understand. Okay, that is the interesting style used by T.S. Eliot. But in case of Shakespeare, he uses difficult vocabulary. But if you know the meaning, we can understand. This is applicable for Wordsworth and Coleridge. But in case of T.S. Eliot, all the words are simple words. Even Indians and school children can understand those words. But yet you cannot understand what he wants to say. It is absolutely difficult to understand, to read his poetry. Okay, so each and every poet has their own style. When I translate T.S. Eliot, okay, T.S. Eliot uses simple words, and yet it is difficult. And now the problem is the language. Can the language have the scope of using that style? And see, say for example, I have my own style. Let me follow that style. If let's say I want to become an actor, and even not only acting, writing, that's what I am explaining. See, if I want to write literature, if I want to write poetry, if I want to teach a subject, or if I want to become an actor, I have my own style and I should master the style. I have to improve the style. So that's what everyone should do. You have your own handwriting and you have to improve your handwriting. You cannot imitate or copy others' style. You cannot copy others' style. Ideas could be copied, but you cannot copy the style, the walking style, the writing style, the handwriting, the speaking style. That cannot be copied. If I copy Dr. Rajinikanth, then it would be funny. You will laugh at me. Okay. So Rajini has his own style and he has to follow his style. Okay. If he began to copy Kamal's style of acting, then it would be funny. Okay. So each and everyone has their own style, and they have to improve the style. And when this is the case, what should a translator do? The translator also should follow his own style of writing. Okay. So how the readers might translator target readers, how he is going to perceive. Likewise, I have to think and follow that style. I cannot imitate or copy the style of the original author in another language. Okay, so this is a problem faced by the translator. Yet the style should be done. The translator should understand the style of the original author, and then he has to follow his own style. Okay, so this should be the case. And again, the same problem. We have various layers of meaning in it, and the figurative meaning in it, and accordingly I use my own style. Okay, the grammar, the vocabulary structure, and so the translator should follow his own style. At the same time, the original author, what is the style adopted by the original author, that I have to be very clear in it, and accordingly I have to translate. Okay, so let me stop the video here. Thank you.